Hi, welcome to James Miller Lifeology, where you learn to simplify and transform your spirit, mind, and body. My name is James Miller. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and a composer. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Let's get started. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to this show. When you're done listening, I hope you take a minute and write a quick review on whichever radio or podcast platform you've heard this show. Your insights will help others to be inspired and encouraged. I have a great show for you today. I'm going to remind you to take control of your life. I'll also be interviewing Dr. Gordon Pedersen, who is the world's leading expert on structured silver liquid that has the potential to eradicate harmful bacteria, virus, yeast, and parasites in the body. For more information about Dr. Pedersen, to purchase his products, and to download his book, The Silver Miracle, please visit mydoctorsuggests.com. Of course, the contents of this show are not meant to treat or diagnose, but for informational purposes only. Contact your licensed medical provider, or better yet, contact Dr. Pedersen for more information. I have some exciting news. Did you know that I'm on the radio 3 times a week? You may hear me on this same station on Tuesdays at 1:30 p.m., Fridays at 9:30 a.m., and Saturday at 12:30 p.m. You may also hear me anytime on iHeartRadio, as well as on all the other major podcasting platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and many others. Simply search for the show name, James Miller Lifeology, or simply go to jamesmillerlifeology.com. Are you struggling to find your purpose? Has mediocrity set in and you can't imagine doing the same thing for the rest of your life? Are your relationships struggling, or you aren't sure how to make long-lasting changes? Then contact me, James Miller. I will help you recognize the areas in your life that are going really well, and then we will look at the areas in which you're struggling. We will create actionable solutions to help you create long-lasting changes. You don't have to do this alone. Go to my website, jamesmillerlifeology.com, and click on the page Work with James. Fill out that form, and it will be sent directly to me. Don't let another day go by without finding your way. Your change can start today. Once again, go to jamesmillerlifeology.com and click on the page Work with James. Fill out that form to get started today. Taking control of your life. In all the years that I've been in psychology, I'm usually what's called the treatment team leader. What that means is I lead the treatment for all the people who also work with my client. That may be social workers, school principals, teachers, doctors. And my job is to make sure that all the services are being provided effectively. We all come together and we discuss how we can help the client improve even more. And in that position, I have the responsibility to make sure to advocate for my client in the most effective and healthy way. When we take a step back and look at our own life, do you find that you are your own treatment team leader? In other words, do you find that you advocate for yourself? Do you find that you are assertive, or you let people know what you need? Because the more you're able to find your voice and to set healthy boundaries with other people, the more successful you're going to be. One thing to really keep in mind is even if you come to see someone like me or to a doctor, you have the right and the personal responsibility to make sure you're getting the treatment that you need. There are so many experts in the world today. But remember, just because we hear an expert, and that includes me, you make the choice that's healthy for you. When it comes to information or even diagnoses or your own health, what are you doing to do your own research? What are you doing to find the most and effective treatment for you? It's very interesting. In the Eastern world versus the Western medicine, you'll find that they have different ways in which they look at the world. You'll find they have different ways in how they treat people. And so as you gather your information, it's so important for you to take control of your life by self-advocating. One of the things I really like when a patient comes into my office is when they tell me exactly what they want to work on, and they're very communicative in what they need. That really makes my job easier. And it's the same type of thing when it comes to your own health. When it comes to pretty much anything. When you know specifically what you want or know that you need to do more research, then that is your own self-advocacy. That allows you to be your own effective treatment team leader. And as you continue to do your own research and make your own informed decisions, you'll start to take your life back. Many times we don't realize that we just allow people, and often many experts, to make those decisions for us. And yes, we honor and respect all experts. But you want to do your own information gathering. You want to make sure you know exactly what's happening or what's going on or what the outcome should look like. Because the more informed you are, the more successful you'll be to overcome any situation that may pop up. I'm really excited about today's interview with Dr. Gordon Pedersen. He's going to give you some amazing information. And of course, it's not for me to treat or diagnose any of your own personal life. But if you choose to take the advice of Dr. Pedersen in this amazing interview and have any questions, please contact him directly at mydoctorsuggests.com. I wanted to take just a quick moment to thank you all who continually support and listen to James Miller Lifeology. I have been so blessed and honored by your continual support. However, I want to make sure that you don't miss out on anything exciting that's happening over here. So go to jamesmillerlifeology.com or lifeology.tv and sign up for the free weekly recap. Each week, I will send you an email which has all the latest radio episodes, YouTube episodes, magazine articles, and self-help products specifically for you. Once again, go to jamesmillerlifeology.com or lifeology.tv and sign up for the free weekly recap. Dr. Gordon Pedersen is a man on a mission. The mission is to alert the world to the incredibly sweeping, restorative, and long-term effects of silver on health, with all of its powers to eradicate harmful bacteria, virus, yeast, and parasites in the body, in particular structured silver liquid, which he innovated and now makes ingestible silver accessible, effective, and completely safe. Welcome to my show, Dr. Pedersen.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I am so honored. Like, my listeners may not know this, but you are one of the most educated and experienced doctors ever. So I'm going to brag on you just for a second. You're board certified in anti-aging medicine with a doctorate in naturopathic medicine and PhD degrees in immunology and medical biology from the toxicology program at Utah State University. You're also the medical director of My Doctor Suggests Institute, and you're considered to be the leading authority on medicinal uses of silver. And that didn't even cover all of the degrees that you have. So once again, I'm completely honored and humbled to have you on my show today.
Thank you, James.
You had your own struggle where you were trying to, I guess, overcome some of your own adversity. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, there's many times that's happened, but one time I went to the doctors and they dropped me off the table. I landed on the wheel of the gurney. It broke my back.
Oh, my gosh.
And I woke up totally knocked out. My back was broken and I was paralyzed from the waist down. Yeah, wow. Paralyzed. I'm like, minute. I went to the doctor and I'm in a way worse situation than before. And I had to go through the full rehab that took. And after 3.5 years, it took me to the place where I'd been through swimming, I'd been through strengthening, through walking, and they had me do ice skating to strengthen my lower back muscles. In the process, here's all these guys whizzing by me at lightning speed, and I'm just like barely moving along. But you know what testosterone does?
Yes, I know.
You want to compete. And so every time these guys would skate around, I try to keep up with them. Well, it was the U.S. Olympic team, and I was skating on the inner circle to keep up with them. And the end of that story ends up really good for me because I ended up getting the bronze medal in speed skating at the Utah Winter Games. Amazing. And it was because I broke my back that I ever even tried to do that. Wow. So I guess that's making lemons out of lemonade.
Well, I think it's so interesting because situations like that, we've all experienced those stumbling blocks. But in those times, that really allows for us to determine, well, what are we going to do? And so you were able to take that horrible experience and turn it into a stepping stone. And obviously, you're here today to inspire us. But I love the fact that you won the bronze in the 2003 Olympics. That is hysterical.
Well, it is hysterical because my wife and kids used to tease me, you're the only one on the podium that still has hair, Dad. You're 43 and they're all 21 and 22. Why are they bald so early? You at least have your hair.
That's funny. That is really funny. So tell me, how did you even know that silver was something you wanted to study?
Well, I didn't know at first, but I saw some examples that made me just get into action, put the research to work. One was I saw a little baby in the emergency room. She came in and it was diaper rash, something as simple but as painful, bleeding and rashy. And this baby was just crying and screaming. And a little bit of silver gel went on her bottom. And you know what? In 5 minutes, she stopped crying. And I said, wow. That works like a painkiller. And then within the hour that she was waiting, it all went away. And I'm talking about back to a pink bottom, none of this red and rashy stuff. And then she got to see the doctor. And so that hour was very critical for me. And I knew something was going on. And I started testing it.
Wow. I can't. Well, I didn't realize it was a pain reliever as well as it just has the ability to decrease inflammation as well.
Well, I discovered on that one that the idea is that it isn't an analgesic, but what it does is it takes away the cause of the pain, so it destroys bacteria and viruses and yeast.
Wow, that's actually quite fascinating. I've heard a lot about silver before, but I didn't know, I obviously don't know much about it, so that's why I was really excited about that. Moving down here to South Florida, I discovered a lot of mold. That is a place where it seems like there's mold everywhere. So I was really interested in this because I unfortunately experienced some mold toxicology myself. But I do have some clients as well who have Lyme disease and who are really struggling with different aspects. And so that was another reason why I really wanted you to share the Silver Miracle. Now let's transition over to Africa. So you heard about a village in Ghana where a generation of kids were dying. How did you take your idea of silver and practice it over there?
Well, I just had to have the courage to go, and I packed up everything after a medical convention that gave me a lot of information and contacts, and I went to Ghana, and I took silver with me, and I clinically tested it to see if it would work for malaria. Now, I already knew it would work for pneumonia and for urinary tract infections and rashes, and they needed that anyway, so I thought it was a no-lose situation. And in the process, I published a peer-reviewed medical study on malaria where silver destroys the parasite, and that's what malaria is. It's called a plasmodia, and it destroys it in the blood, and 100% of the children were back in school in an average of 5 days. And I thought that was just fascinating that it wasn't a prescription drug that was actually giving these people hope, not only physically, but their economy started to change when I gave it to the orphanage, and they began to be the salespeople for the silver. They learned to read. They learned to function with pharmaceutical instructions. They learned to build buildings with the money they brought in, and they kept themselves well.
Wow. From a humanitarian standpoint, I bet that made you feel incredible to know that you were not only able to help them from a medical standpoint, but also from a socioeconomic standpoint as well.
Yeah, and just imagine, when I arrived there were 5 babies in the body bags on the bench of the clinic I walked into, and after I left, that wasn't happening anymore, and that's just a real good thing for my heart.
Wow. Why is it that silver isn't really discussed that much here in Western society? Or maybe it is, and I'm just unfamiliar with it.
No, it's not discussed that much because in 1924, the patent for silver expired. You see, back then there were about 42 drugs that were in the physician's desk reference that were being used by physicians all the time for IV use, for injectable use, for all different kinds of use, topical and oral. And then what happened was penicillin came along. It worked faster, it worked better. And if there's no patent that can be obtained on the silver, you can't mark it up 5,000 times. And so they kind of abandoned it.
Ah, well, that makes sense. I mean, from a business standpoint, I can see why they wouldn't do that. Some of my listeners don't know this, but the pharmaceutical companies usually have, a 5-year patent where they can make all their money. And then when it goes to generic, then they start a different type of medication. And so in that first 5 years, so that patent is where all of the money is made from pharmaceutical companies.
You're correct.
So it makes sense to me from a business standpoint that they wouldn't want to market the silver because it doesn't make sense financially.
Yeah, and it's a 17-year patent that they have nowadays. So if Viagra comes on the market, they can mark it up to $80 or $90 a pill for 17 years. And this past year, the patent expired on that drug, and now you're starting to see it being sold for $8. So it's the kind of thing that happens.
So when it comes to the silver itself, so it's not that the medical standpoint or the medical benefits from it waned. It just simply means that no one really studied it until you.
Well, and I also put my toxicology to work, and I learned that this could be something you could take every single day for protection. And what that meant was that you could take it in the family when a family member was sick and you would be protected from that family member. I learned that in Africa. And so I learned that you needed to have something that was alkaline. You see, all other silvers up until now have been strong acids, and they kind of inflame the immune system. But I made an alkaline or pH balanced silver with a pH of 7.5, and now it works with the immune system. Now it's alkaline like the body wants, and now you can take it every single day.
Wow. Okay, so help us understand the difference between the previous part of it that was not alkaline level, did not have the pH level of 7. As if I remember correctly, I think coffee has a acidic pH balance of 5. And so to kind of give people an understanding of it has a little bit more acidity than black coffee. So help us understand what it comes down to if it's too acidity versus it's not, or pH if it's not pH balanced.
Well, when it's alkaline, it's going to be received into the cells, and the immune system isn't going to send out a hormone response called cytokines, and they're not going to cause any inflammatory receptors to be flared up. In other words, you can take it every single day and it reacts like water, and we structured it using structured water so that the magnetic charge of the water will then be accepted by the body. And you're not just drinking stale water with fluorine and bromine and chlorine in it. You're drinking something that's magnetically acceptable by the body, does not make the immune system flare up, and it provides an environment where germs don't want to live while it destroys them.
So it's bound then to on a molecular structure. So if I'm understanding this correctly, so the silver molecule and the water molecule are bound together. So every part of it is completely saturated, every part of the water.
You're absolutely correct. The silver bonds to the oxygen on the water molecule, and that's important for another reason. It doesn't fall out of solution. While the acidic forms of silver in the past have fallen out of solution and can accumulate in the body, this silver does not accumulate in the body because it's bonded to the oxygen molecule and it leaves 12 hours later.
Wow. Okay. So now what I've seen on Amazon that they have so many types of colloidal silver to purchase. How do people know the difference? I mean, obviously yours is going to be the standard, the gold standard in my opinion, but how do people know the difference between what type of silver they should take?
Well, if you're looking for ionic silver, that's a poison. That's what they made photographic solutions with. If you're looking for the silver called colloidal silver, that's something that's 150-year-old technology, and it can accumulate in your system. But if you're looking for pH balanced or alkaline silver, you're going to get the latest and the greatest technology. I know I've been associated with this for about 15 years, and I've been a part of bringing out, at least a dozen different kinds of silver. This is the safest. This is the best. This is the one that your body can handle every single day. And it comes as a liquid. It comes as a gel. It comes as a lotion. It comes in a soap. And one of my favorites, it comes as a lozenge so it can stay in place in your mouth.
Wow. And I also read that in your information that you can also give it to pets as well.
Oh, yes. And I've written a book on pets. I'll even give it to you free digitally if you go to my website at mydoctorsuggest.com. Think about pets. They're sticking their noses everywhere. They're drinking out of the gutter. They're breaking all the rules of hygiene. They bring it home and they greet you with their tongue. So I just take a daub of gel, put it on my hand, reach out to the dogs who come to greet me. They lick it right off of my hand. There is no flavoring. There's no aroma. They just love it. And then it helps them as well as it helps you. Plus, a few drops of liquid silver in their water every day is valuable. But, horses, dogs, cats, they always get little nicks and cuts. And the silver gel helps that heal up without infection very quickly.
Wow, I'm really blown away by this. I'm actually looking forward to purchasing this myself. I was reading that there's a difference between, and this is probably the old version of silver itself, but you see some silver that's amber and some that's more clear. Is that relevant to your type of silver?
Well, our silver in the liquid form comes clear. What happens is if even our product is exposed to direct sunlight too much, silver bonded to an oxygen molecule is so active and reactive that if it's exposed to too much sunlight, it actually starts to change to that amber color. In other words, the silver gets attached to the oxygen and it starts to do what tarnish would do. It starts to react with the oxygen molecule before it's time, and you start to see a tarnish. Now, This amber color is not harmful, it's not dangerous, and it doesn't really decrease the ability of silver to destroy germs, but it makes it a little slower.
Yeah, that actually would make a lot of sense. Some of the things I've read as well is from women suffering from yeast infection or vaginal urinary tract infections, this is something that can help them as well.
Oh, this is fantastic. Women can take over control of their vaginal infections immediately in the first night. The gel can be pumped either on your hand, and you can put it in the warm, moist areas that grow yeast and bacteria of the vaginal lining, or you can actually take that gel, pump it on, and totally saturate a tampon, insert it at night so that the gel can stay in the vaginal vault all night long. Take it out in the morning, and if you'll do this 3 nights in a row, my gosh, it destroys yeast infections, it destroys bacteria that causes the itching and scratching, it destroys viruses, and you can do this in just 3 nights. And the important part here is recognize that this gel contains silver that's safe for you, but it is water soluble. So in other words, it feels and touches just like KY jelly. Now, throw away your KY jelly, because the silver gel is going to destroy every form of sexually transmitted disease at the same time you're using it for a personal lubricant.
Wow. I'm sure that's very earth-shattering for many of my listeners. I also read it as well that it can help treat syphilis as well. Is that true?
Well, that's a bacteria, and it can destroy it if it can come in contact with it. And yes is the answer. So what I would do if it were me, I would drink 2 teaspoons of liquid silver twice a day so it's working on the inside, and I would apply the gel anywhere on the outside that I might have a problem.
Wow. I'm kind of really blown away here. I think I'm surprised I have not, or I've not heard of this before, but this is definitely something that I'm going to be ingesting myself here. Now, with everyone think that, people are, I'm sure, hearing this right now to say, okay, well, this is another doctor just talking about something here. How has this really revolutionized people's lives?
Well, what it does is it gives people an opportunity to restore proper immune function while fighting disease. And what I mean by that is when you recognize that antibiotics come into the body, destroy the digestive system, change the balance of bacteria and yeast in the gut, and then becomes resistant, recognize that in a study done from Harvard at the Weiss Institute, they just published a study not too long ago that said the silver being taken with the antibiotic reverses antibiotic resistance because it strips away the resistant layer on the bacterial membrane. So silver by itself is a very valuable tool to destroy bacteria, viruses, and yeast, but it's also reversing antibiotic resistance at the same time. I got to present this research to the Naturopathic Association, to all the doctors, and at the end of that International Congress of Naturopathic Medicine, they took a vote, and it was received 100% by all the doctors that any patient on an antibiotic needs to have silver taken at the same time because it makes the antibiotic 1,000 times more effective at killing bacteria and reverses antibiotic resistance. The goal I presented was that we can reduce antibiotic use by at least half in the next 2 years just by reaching for silver instead of going right after an antibiotic. This is also appropriate because about 4 weeks ago, the FDA banned, that's right, I said the word banned, it banned 28 of the 31 ingredients used in hand sanitizers because they don't kill all the germs and make the germs worse.
Oh my gosh.
And because they cause skin irritation and even cancer of the skin, they said. So you've got a situation where all the hand sanitizers, just about 28 out of 31 ingredients in them, have been banned within the last month. Guess what I'm recommending? Silver gel, because it's safe, it's beneficial, it's all natural. My gosh, it's God's antibiotic without side effects.
Wow. I keep saying this, I'm literally blown away by all this information. If my listeners, Dr. Pedersen, if my listeners like to find out more information about you and to purchase all of your silver supplements, where will they find this information online?
Online, it's at mydoctorsuggests.com. I'm going to spell that for you. MYDOCTOR, suggests, SUGGESTS, ESTS.com. So mydoctorsuggest.com. And if you go into that website under books, because we've talked to you today, we're going to give them a deal, and that is that I've written several best-selling books. If you just find my book, any one of them that's on that website, click on it. Digitally, it's going to come to you free right now. You're going to be able to start reading within 1 minute after this is over, because James and I have talked about this, and we want you to have this message, and we want you to have it for free.
That is such an incredible gift. Thank you so much. Once again, my listeners, I am looking forward to reading his books as well as taking the supplements. Once again, go to his website at mydoctorsuggest.com. Dr. Pedersen, thank you so much for being a fantastic, amazing guest on my show today. I really did appreciate all your expertise.
Thank you. I'm just delighted to be here and share the fact that your body will heal itself if you give it the proper tools. This is one of my favorite tools, silver.
I also want to thank you, my listener, for tuning in today. Please subscribe to this radio show through whichever portal you join me today. Also, please go to my website where you may sign up for the free weekly recap, watch my YouTube episodes, read the articles I've written specifically for you, and purchase my previous guests' self-help products. If you'd like to work with me, be a guest on, or advertise on this show, visit jamesmillerlifeology.com. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms under the name James Miller Lifeology, except for Twitter, which is James M. Lifeology. Once again, thank you so much for your support, and I'll talk to you soon.